in, but it's a fun way to go.
Whatever gets you through the day. Don't hurt yourself. Don't hurt other people, okay?
No, that's why I stick with my one thing. Do in my head. We're so good. Keep. I forget. I push buttons on my end too.
Do you push them? You push the buttons?
I push all the buttons. It's a time change. It's a time warp.
You got an extra hour. How can it be the time change?
I don't know.
I can understand if it was like springing ahead and you lost an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, not to say anything because I slept a lot extra today too, but I'm like I said, I think going the way that you were last week. Like I feel okay, but not
the best.
Not in my A game. That's why I have the notes to like read and do all the stuff. So
that's the annoying joy of sickness. It's just like I feel fine, but I just like last week. Part of it was like, yeah, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, but I'm fairly sharp. Last week I was just like, I forgot. So
thankfully, you were playing with the like Wayne facade, so it kind of worked for you.
It worked out perfectly. Yeah, I was like, all right.
For you were like, like dripping down your like.
Yeah, that helped the fact that no one could see how much sweat was kind of pouring underneath, and the wet hairpiece.
Gross. Anyways,
I've got this wet hairpiece.
So we're not going to talk about Halloween too much, but I do need to finish up my Boxtober.
Do it.
Mine, because you went MIA.
Just because my muse died.
Well, what happened to her or it or whatever your muse was?
I am just that kind of way. It's a very, and you kind of know this. I will have thought, idea after idea after idea, and then I will just dry up. I was trying to think of like a fruit or a wine that would, I'm like a raisin.
That's disgusting, dude. I hate raisins. Don't be a raisin. That's okay.
I'm like a California raisin. I've got style.
Okay.
But yeah.
So,
you continued the saga of Pumpkin.
Yeah. Pumpkin, he became a married man last week. He's had a lot of stuff that's happened since then. A lot of stuff's gone down. So then on Monday, it was family. And look, he had a baby.
Yay.
He had a little baby boy, Pumpkin. We had a baby, it's a boy. And so, okay. And then it was Bond.
Why a boy and not a girl?
It's probably my inner thought of I just always wanted a boy. And Short Round's not a boy.
That's why she eats her Pringles all the time.
What? Anyways, that's it. Eat your Pringles. Boy. Yeah, I don't know. And then it was Bond, it was 27th. And then see, look. So what I did was I took the picture from the day before and I put it on the wall. See, from the baby was being born.
Ooh, nice.
And then the baby's in the little thing. And then it's a little family bond.
I approve of that. I approve of that.
Thank you. I just thought like it's good to kind of, kind of like the gravesite thing when he sandwiched and then like knocked over the gravestone and then was like eating the guy. So yeah. And then this one's a sad one. Are you okay? Do you have your hankies? So because 28 was sadness, and look, poor Catkin. Catkin died.
Aww.
So he's got the same gravestone as Daddy did. It says here lies Catkin, a really gored cat.
By my Schnarf.
Oh, by my Schnarf. Yeah. So sadness, and it was like there's like the clouds, and yeah. So Catkin died.
Oh.
But then you saw this one, and you actually made some sort of a comment on it. 29 was rebirth, and look, they found a little litter of kittens.
Yes, I said wow, and you're like, what do you mean by wow?
Well, I didn't know wow. Well, I didn't know what you meant by it because there was a lot of stuff. So yeah, there's
exactly.
Little babies.
That's why I was wowing. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, and then so they have their little litter, and it says kitkins for sale because a catkin is a big pumpkin cat, and a kitkin is a baby.
Okay, established. The lore of pumpkin
and
land.
then here's again where we go from the one picture that's like associated with the picture before, and then look, because Wisp is day 30, and look, Catkin came back to approve of their pick. Because what's his face, the little baby pumpkin, said that one, and he said good choice with a little heart. He's a little ghost cat. Aww. And then the last day yesterday was number 31, and it was Magic, and little pumpkin named him Magic because he has little stars on his pumpkin belly. Let's call him Magic.
Oh, that's a cat pumpkin on the ground.
Yeah, it's his little cat pumpkin.
Oh, okay. Okay, it's doing the snow princess, as I call it.
Yep, he's on his belly. That means they're comfortable within their surroundings. Nice. So there you go. He went from like a clown, mermaid, random zombie, undead guy to a happy family with a stop it. This, you know what? Like that's the thing. You would have not even known about that word if I hadn't taught you. And I think that's the first what's the word? Unsavory thing I probably ever taught you in your life. So, bye pumpkin. Bye Boxtober. That's what this show is about. Thanks for
the inspiration. Yeah, that was Lunchbox's Inc. His version of Inktober. He's on Twitter, Twitch, because a lot of the stuff that he drew some really good stuff.
It was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, because he is autist. But
there was like one guy that was doing like perler bead things with like they look like little keychains. Those were cool.
I started following him on Instagram. It was fun just to see like him do all the different stuff per day and like, oh yeah, I know exactly what you made.
Yeah.
These little pixelated, what are they called?
Well, I said perler beads. I think that's what they are. Like where you put them in the little like weavy, like, thing, and then you like kind of heat them together.
Iron them or something back in the day or whatever. Depends.
I was never into that kind of stuff. I was more like the fashion plates where you had like the piece of paper with the doll, and then you had like the plastic, where you could like make the like dress and then like the thing and the shoes, and you kind of like put them together.
Okay.
That was more my speed.
Nice. So
you know what? Yeah, go ahead.
Now that you've done all these drawings, I'm not saying this because I know you have creative essence in you. You should write a kid's book.
Yeah, hold on.
I know it reeks sometimes, but it's there.
Yeah, I can smell it. Anyways,
but
I can write it. I actually have
enough to write a kid's book. I mean, I have.
Oh, you're talking about pumpkin?
Yeah.
Oh, I actually have a storyboard written out for a kid's book, actually. But I would never be like brazen enough to actually go get it done. Yeah, it's a holiday book, and I've had it like for about a year. I was like, I don't know how would you even do that? I don't know. Teach me.
I don't know. I haven't done a book.
Yeah, I have. Well, yeah, I mean, like Pumpkin has like all sorts of things because you can have like Catkin and Kitkin.
I'm a media. I'm a interactive media type person, not a book.
So you can just like do my stuff for my socials when I become an author. Evidently,
no, I don't like doing socials.
Okay, you can do my marketing. Okay. I like creative stuff. Okay, fine.
I'll be like the guy. I'll be like the weather guy from Family Guy. Read this book.
And then Lunchbox can be my illustrator.
Yeah.
There we go. Done. Lunchbox, write it down, dude. If he's listening, I don't know if he's watching.
You can do your own illustrations. I'm just saying. I mean, your art is not bad. I mean.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying because I could do like and I can actually like put the story.
You do the whole thing.
Except there's that very interesting night where they were in smoldering thing. I don't think that's appropriate for a kid's book.
May want to skip a few of them. Just
Oh.
Do you want to be
had the baby? Yeah,
Whale Kids or WB or CW? I should say.
That's like that's like that episode of Friends where Phoebe dates that guy, and he's like, yeah, and I write erotic novels for kids, and she's like, cool.
And then he took off his baseball glove.
Anyways, never mind. Okay. So I need to speaking of things that are not appropriate for anything, I need to tell you about the birds, the bees, and the guinea pigs, because this story is like too good to, like go away from.
Okay. The birds, the bees, and the guinea pigs.
Yes. So I got this text message from my sister-in-law on Monday morning. And like we had all been over there on Saturday night because remember it was my mother-in-law's birthday, and then we went and got like family pictures and all that stuff and whatever. Mm-hmm. And so on Monday morning, she sends me this text and she's like, "Oh hey, so they had these guinea pigs and they were Mandy and Maddie, and Mandy died, and so they got a new little girl guinea pig named Coco. So they had Coco and Maddie together, and she's like, "Oh hey, you know what? It's kind of fun. Like we found out." Coco's a boy. And we're like, oh, okay. Haha, that's funny. And I was like, oh, were they having like early morning sexy times or something? And so she sends me the picture and there's a baby guinea pig in the cage.
How long do they have this guinea pig?
Long enough, I guess. I don't know. So anyways, yeah, Coco's a boy.
Surprise.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Reminds me of the time when we went to the, I think it was the Oklahoma City Zoo, and the tortoises were playing with each other, as the small child next to us said.
Play with each other?
Yeah.
Well, one's playing with they weren't playing with each other so much. No. Yeah, they, have you ever, well, you've obviously seen it if you were at the zoo, but I encountered that at the Rio Grande Zoo in Albuquerque once. And it was very, let's see, what's the word? They weren't subtle about it. Is that a good way to say it? They were loud AF. I was like, dear Jesus, okay, like, get a room. I mean, technically I know we're watching you in your room, but still. Anyway.
You put me in this room.
Oh my God. Anyways. Yeah, it was loud as hell. I was like, okay, that's cool. Anyways.
Yeah, the tortoises aren't very subtle, but yeah, the little boy that was next to us, like, look, they're playing. It's like,
yeah, they're playing.
Yes, they are.
Stupid.
Learning opportunity.
I know. Okay, so then I have one last Halloween thing to talk about. And I sent you this too. It just made me laugh because like Short Round's to the age where like she's almost out of that like picture book, like fun. We can do like, the Halloween stories and like the Christmas books and stuff, like the brand, like different, themed books or whatever.
Gotcha.
And she has this one that's called the Spooky Express in New Mexico or something like that. And it's just this random one. And all they do is like change the names of towns and have it be the Spooky Express in wherever, and yeah. So she thinks it's like super cool that it has like the, town names in it. And so there's this train and there's this conductor. Well, they call it the train engineer. You can see where I'm going with this. Mm-hmm. And there's this part of the story where the train like falls off the tracks or something. And then his head like falls out of the train. So I'm like, that's a little weird for a kid's book, but okay. And then they talked about the headless engineer, and I was like, we have one of those. Hey,
after watching Hereditary last night, headless has a whole new meaning. So,
oh snap! Did Toni Collette's head fall off or what?
Well,
okay, I don't know. She's the one in it, right? Is that her? Is it Toni Collette? Okay.
It's not. There's a lot of heads that fall off in that movie. We'll get in that later.
Hereditary. Anyway.
Yeah, hereditary.
Hereditary. Okay. Tell me some other things you've been watching. You have quite the list. I do not.
Yeah, the wife and I, the past few days, because the wife got a snow day the other day, on Thursday. So we just hung out kind of watching TV. She was working from home, and I've still just been in quarantine, sick days and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I just watched a lot of movies. And so she found a list on the best horror movies or fun horror movies that are streaming. One that she came across is technically two is The Babysitter. And then there's the sequel, The Babysitter Killer Queen. The Samara Weaving, who we've talked about before, because she's in Bill and Ted.
Yeah, she is
in both these movies. She is the babysitter.
Yeah, you can see her in that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
it's you like the Scream movies, right?
Oh yeah, I love
these movies.
Will I?
You will love these movies.
Try. Okay,
there is nothing scarier in these movies that Scream covered. In fact, I was watching these. I was like, this almost has a Scream-like vibe, just because it's campy. I mean, Robbie Amell, who you may have seen in various.
He was some sort of superhero.
Yeah, he was Green Arrow.
Oh, Green Arrow. Yeah, he
is Green Arrow's cousin. In reality,
yeah. He was like
Steve Amell is Green Arrow. Robbie Amell is, I think, his cousin.
There we go. Never mind. Yeah,
he's in this throughout the whole thing, but without a shirt on, and he has the body that can justify. And it's a joke. They're all the whole thing. Like I won't spoil it, but the kid comes conscious, like, why is that dude shirt off? And then other characters, why not?
Oh yeah, that's like one of the ones I'm going to talk to you about here in a little bit.
So it's Babysitter movies, dumb, fun. I highly recommend. I mean, just because they're silly. Count me in. Let's see what else. I mentioned Warlock, the movie, a while back as a recommendation. Yeah. Warlock 2, the Armageddon. I found that it was streaming. I didn't think I had watched it, but I had. Yeah. I prefer the first one. It's very campy. Second one's like the 90s version of it, but dumb horror, has a hint of that Hellraiser face disfiguring stuff that they like to do in the 90s, 80s.
You mean Cronenberging?
Cronenberging, yes, that's our official title.
All right, thank you. Anyway.
So, and then just kind of going on, I didn't get to watch Sea Fever, but it is on my list. I watched, check out the trailer for it. Looks great.
Well, like I looked into that a little bit because I knew that was like pseudo newish kind of. Mm-hmm. And the concept was a little too like 2020 for me, just because it's like, oh, there's this like parasite that like grows and like kills stuff. And I was like, that's a little too real. So I'm like,
It was made in 2019, but it's got that element to it. But yeah, they are not crab fishermen, but like, fishermen. You've got the scientist who's on the ship with them, just studying various things about the catch they're coming up. Yeah. And all of a sudden something latches onto the boat, gets into the boat, and then gets into the water system of the boat, and chaos ensues. So I am a big sucker for water-based stuff. That's why, like, I was coming across I was just kind of browsing. I was like, oh, this looks interesting. And it kind of caught my attention.
Have you watched Jaws? I'm assuming you have.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I've never heard you talk about it, so I thought maybe.
I enjoyed Jaws, even the Jaws 3D, which does not hold up. And I just always think of down in the Bahamas with Michael Caine. So
Jesus, yeah. I just think of Back to the Future too. When I think of Jaws 3D.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Was it Jaws or was it Jaws 3000?
Or whatever it was. I don't know.
It was at the 3D. I'm trying to think.
Yeah, it's like the like little.
Since it was the future of 2015, so far in the future.
Yeah. Feels like that's really far in the rear view at this point now.
It is.
Since 2020 has lasted about 7 or 8 years in itself. So
some of the movies that depicted futuristic events have already happened. Like we had the 2015 of Back to the Future. The Arnold Schwarzenegger movie Running Man, that happened in 2017.
Oh geez. Yeah, we actually, Headless and I went on Back to the Future Day because that's like his favorite thing. It was like October, hold on, stop. October 21st, 2015, I think, right? Yeah? Is that right?
Sounds right. Yeah.
Yes, I got the thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Yeah, I got him these. We have this donut place here in town called Rebel Donut. It's really, really good. And I actually had them do like special donuts. And it was like one of them was the license plate that said out of time. And then like one was the flux capacitor and all this stuff. Nice. Like, so yeah, I got my wife points that day for sure. It was good.
Next time I'm in the area, I will check that out. I love donuts.
Oh yeah, they're good. You'd like them.
Let's see.
So let's talk about Hereditary.
Hereditary. It was on, I think it's on Prime. Okay. That's how we watched it. I've heard about Hereditary and like Hereditary, Midsommar. We had them right next to each other in our things to watch. Yeah, it's the same director, possibly the same writer. I don't know for sure, but we watched Hereditary. This may say something about us, but neither of us were scared.
It goes.
It was interesting, but
yeah,
it's kind of like the movie The Babadook. I was rooting for the Babadook.
Okay, got it.
And if you've seen the Babadook, that kid needed to go anyway. But interesting movie. Huh?
Did he go?
I'm not going to spoil it for you. I'm going to make you watch it because it's got children.
You're going to make me go to moviepooper.com?
Yeah.
Or go to Dead Meat.
Yeah.
Spoil it myself.
I would really curious what Hereditary, what they would say about that. But Hereditary, very interesting, very psychological. It didn't freak us out, but yeah, there's a few heads will roll scenes of adults and children.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. Hey.
And then we finished, then a few other movies real quick. Watched, again, Samara Weaving. We watched Ready or Not, which she is the main actress of. She's like,
you need to watch Bill 3.
I know. I was like, well, since I'm on the kick already.
Yeah.
But Ready or Not is fun. A girl marries into a family. They have a tradition of they have to play a game. It turns out to be hide and seek, but it's deadly hide and seek.
It's like right after the wedding.
Yeah. It's like they got married at 8:00. At midnight, they have to start this tradition, or something happens if they don't follow tradition.
So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Does that actually does she know that that's happening? Like going, okay. I was like, because that would be a little,
up until
that's going to be a deal breaker for me.
Because she has to draw a game out of this box and they tell you what's going on. And it's hide and seek. She's like, really? We're going to play hide and seek? They're like, yeah. She's still in her wedding dress.
Yeah.
And then she goes off and hides. And the family are all gathering these old ancient weapons that are off the walls. Crossbows, old shotguns, like gunpowder guns, stuff like that. And she's just, so I have to do this until dawn. And then people start shooting at her. But yeah.
She's like, what, the actual F or what?
Yeah. Yeah.
She has to shoot back.
She has to survive. And so I'll go from there. But yeah, it was, I watched that on HBO Max. So that was a fun romp.
I mean, is that could I watch that? Will that be okay for me to watch?
Yeah. There's no jump scares. I mean, there's gore. It's that's fine. And the wife and I were talking about gore factor. It's Army of Darkness, Ash versus the Evil Dead gore. I mean, the same thing with the Babysitter. It's that scream gore. I mean, they literally stab some guy in the head and there's blood gushing, but then it splatters all over one guy's like, oh. So it's silly gore.
Got it. All right.
And then Crawl was crap.
Okay. CAR.
Crawl. It's Florida during a hurricane. They're trapped underneath a house, which has the hugest pier and beam layout ever. It's like, my house is pier and beam. That means it's not directly on the ground. There's not a cement slab underneath the house. It's off the ground. I've got about 2.5 feet coverage. This place had 4 feet. And maybe it's because it's Florida.
It's a flood zone, dude. You gotta have,
it's just one of those.
That's with the alligators and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Daughter goes to find dad, who for some reason decides to work underneath the house during level 5 hurricane.
That's what you do, yeah.
And then alligators ensue.
All right. Sounds good. I mean, sounds meh.
It just wasn't, I don't know. After watching a lot of horror flicks here, I'm like, maybe I've become more dead inside. But it just didn't really
kind of been like that, but that's okay.
Yeah. But and then I didn't mention this, but we did finish off the night with Dr. Sleep, which is the sequel to The Shining. Ewan McGregor, Rebecca Ferguson, and then a whole slew of other characters. It was good. It was really good. We enjoyed it.
Your name's right. We can't have any more Nancy Cardigan fiascos.
Nancy Cardigans. It was beautiful, especially in that sweater. But
love her.
But yeah,
anyways, okay.
Dr. Sleep was really good. If you enjoyed the Shining movie, I should say, because Shining and book. I don't know if you could take that one.
I mean, I've seen, I know what happens, and I know,
How are you on psychological stuff? Because that's what The Shining is. It's a lot of psychological.
I'm okay. I do right.
You should try it one day.
Okay.
Don't. I mean, it's already been kind of spoiled for you, but don't read anything beforehand.
Happens.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a big body count in it or anything. It's just psychological.
No. Yeah.
But the opening of The Shining is freaky because it's just this beautiful. We're gonna, a shot of following this car as it's going through the mountainsides, but this ominous soundtrack behind it. It's kind of like this deep bay and just
and then they
really
forgot
messes with you.
Grandpa, so they had to turn around and go pick him up, right?
And then they tied him to the top.
Hi, David, I'm Grandpa. Sorry, that's it. No. Oh wait, no, that's the Shannon. I've seen that before. Okay, for sure. Anyways, okay.
So yeah, watched a lot of movies just because we've had time. So and it was the season, and we were just trying. It's funny because we set out all these DVDs that we actually owned, but we ended up watching a bunch of streamed ones. So
it's 2020 for you, man.
I know.
That's just what you do. You just don't watch anything on a disc anymore.
And which is ironic because I started watching the Blockbuster episode of South Park where Kyle's dad buys a Blockbuster and like. So many people are going to rent DVDs. I was like, actually, what? I'm sorry, I was watching a movie on my computer. It's true. So yeah, that's how my mind has been warped for the past few days.
Mr. Broflovsky. Yeah.
Broflovsky.
Okay. So
what you been watching?
A few other things. I did get a little bit of horror-ish type things in there. So sports ball wrapped up. Well,
quite the horror event.
The round white one with the like red stitching, that sports ball finished.
It's made out of pigeon skin, right?
You'd have to ask Buffalo Bill. I don't know. I think so. Anyways,
puts the ball in the bag.
Oh my god!
Or hits it with a bat.
That's right. Or else it gets the something.
It's the mitt.
Yeah. So the Dodgers won. First time since 1988. Good job, Dodgers.
LA Dodgers.
Yeah, not the Brooklyn Dodgers. Like. Great grandma Rizzo was talking about last week. No, yes, the LA Dodgers. And then actually the LA Lakers won the NBA championship, which was of course with like Kobe and everything. Like they weren't going to not win, but that's okay. And so now it's on the Rams, which is actually Ma Rizzo's team. So she's a little like thinking, oh, nah. Yeah, because like they could do the trifecta of like basketball, baseball, and football.
Because I think we're still in the part of the season that doesn't count in football, and so the stuff that does count is coming up in a few weeks.
I mean, like you have to win games. Like if you don't win games,
but it's like, isn't it like I could be completely
playoffs?
Wrong. It's like the second half of the season is the ones that really count towards getting to the Super Bowl.
Well, yeah, I mean, like if you're, because there's like 18 weeks and it's 16 games that you play. Yeah. And if you have like 5 wins and 3 losses and you leave with like whatever it is, I'm like 13-3, like that's great. But if you end up like, 8-8, like meh. Unless you're in the NFC East, which is my dad's, which is Sir Rizzo's league, and like I think it hits the Eagles. That's actually a short runs team too, but I think they're leading the league, and they're like 2-4. They have the highest record.
It's like you don't have to be the best team. You can just sort of like you have, like you said, you need certain wins, but you don't need all of them to get to the big game.
Well, yeah, it's true. I mean, because you could always lose. Like, doesn't matter if you have whatever. Yeah, but we don't talk about that here. We don't want anybody to have 0 losses because I'm a Dolphins fan. Which now you need to put the hold on. I'm gonna say it again. Then you have to do your laughing. I'm a Dolphins fan. Okay, and they're horrible. Like they're terrible. But they're the only team in NFL history that went undefeated in an entire season. So we don't want anybody else to go undefeated.
And that was when the 60s.
Yeah, it was like before they had the like extended. They had like a 3-game thing.
Are you a Dolphins fan purely because of Ace Ventura?
No, Dan Marino.
Okay.
So Dan Marino was like right before, because I was a huge Broncos fan. Okay. And then I was like, forget it. They don't win. Never mind. And then they won back-to-back Super Bowls like the next 2 years. And I was like, okay, fine. Whatever one I pick, I'm going to this is always going to be my team. And so it was no more fair weather. And so I was Dolphins, and I'm still Dolphins, and it's been a rough 25 years.
I'm a bad Broncos fan because I don't follow as well as I should. But the year we decided we are Broncos fans, that was the year they got the Super Bowl, like 3-4 years ago, before when Manning was still their quarterback.
I don't remember. Okay.
Yeah, it was like just a few years ago. But it's like, yay! And then the next year we just didn't follow as much. I would kind of look up on news like, where are they at? Still got a good defense? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't even know. So anyway, so Sports Bowl wrapped up, and they actually did it in 6 games. And if they had to have gone to a 7th game, then they would have pushed back Masked Singer again, but they didn't because they won in 6. And so I got to watch Sports Ball and Masked Singer this week, which was pretty cool. And they introduced Group C, and that was, I'm going to just tell you the names. That was Squiggly Monster, Jellyfish, Mushroom, Lips, and Broccoli. That's a weird group. It just sounds so, like, saying it out loud sounds ridiculous.
Anyway. I was going to say, every time you mention the names of the Masked Singers, they sound ridiculous. But
yeah, they do. They totally do. I'm like, oh yeah, it's Serpent. And you're like, okay, like whatever.
Fake face guy.
I mean, like, it's fine. In the first elimination, this first Group C was Lips. And it was Wendy Williams. Yeah, I mean, like, you can see, like, it was like the little red thing. And yeah. But she was... Like, I've watched almost every season of this show, and she was probably the worst one I've ever heard. No offense, Wendy, but like it was. I mean, like, it was horrible.
I mean, if you're dressed as a giant, again, I don't believe that they're singing underneath the mask. I can't. I don't believe, because it just, you know what a mic does, and you know what a mask does to your voice.
But they have like production value and they know what they're doing. Like, yeah. I mean, and like the little, like, see in the between the lips with like the little black mesh thing, it's like a cover. It's like, it's not like. Yeah.
But some of those masks, I'm just like, everyone's going to come out sounding like Bane.
That's not
what I want to tell you of the world. Shadows.
Anyways, you should watch it this week. I knew you won't. But. Anyways, Lips is gone, so now it's just Broccoli, Mushroom, Squiggly Monster, and Jellyfish. Ridiculous names. Anyways, so yeah, she it's like the one time they've gotten it right though. On sometimes it's like, you think you're like, oh, it's totally going to be that guy, and then it's like some other random person. You're like, how was that like worse than like the worst thing? So. Anyways, gotcha. And I actually knew who it was right when she started talking, because it was obviously her. She's a talk show host, and I knew.
That's a fun thing with.
It's kind of fun
when you recognize. Well, I'm one of those people watching a commercial. I'm like, oh, that's Will Arnett. Oh, that's who is that? Oh, that's so and so from this. Or I'll get obsessed. Like Arby's, we have the beef. That's Ving Rhames.
Is that really?
Yeah. I was like, who is this? Because I'm like, this is a guy having a fun time with reading a script.
Yeah.
Ving Rhames. I'm like, all right, rock on.
All right. So, well, speaking of Arby's, the one guy who's like the chef guy who's on it? That's the guy who played Archer, and the guy who plays Bob.
Oh, yes. Yeah, the recent one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Burger. He's in everything. Family Guy. And
yeah. So I was like, I know. Like, close your eyes and you're like, Bob's talking about burgers, or I mean, like,
Wet Hot American Summer. He's in those as well.
Yeah. So, anyways,
nice.
Okay. So I need to talk about my tiny foray into horror type things. So we watched this. So Headless and I watched Cabin in the Woods, and
have you seen it before?
No, I had never seen it before.
Had Headless seen it before?
Yes, he had seen it before.
Okay.
And it was so like, I don't know. It was weird. Like, it was funny. It wasn't scary at all.
No.
It was just like, first of all, like, you don't go into the basement, and then like, you don't go through the relics, and you don't read the Latin. Like, come on, guys. Like,
but the fact that in the movie, they highlight, you don't do this, even though we're doing this.
And they're doing it. Yeah.
The way they play on the stereotypes of horror movies.
Yeah.
To make the story of their own horror movie is fantastic. So.
Yeah, it was really good. And I, at the end, when Sigourney Weaver came out, it was really funny because this is sort of like a side thing. Like right before, because we of course watched it after Short Round went to bed, and she started talking about Finding Dory, and then she was talking about have you seen that movie?
No.
Oh, okay, so.
Wait, no, the fish. Yes.
Yeah, when Dory goes up to the when she's at the aquarium, and Sigourney Weaver's like, "Hi, I'm Sigourney Weaver. Welcome to whatever," and she's like, "Hi, Sigourney, I'm Dory," and whatever. And so she was like literally talking about Sigourney Weaver before she went to bed, which is really weird. But anyways, yeah.
Funny.
Yeah, it was weird. And it was like what was it? Jock, whore, smart guy.
Yeah, you got your jock, you got your girl that's loose, you got the smart girl, you got the stoner.
Yeah. She's like virgin. He's like, oh, we had to work with what we had. Like,
yeah, so it's highly recommended if you haven't seen it, because the way they work within the horror genre to make their own story about a horror movie.
Yeah, and the merman part at the end was pretty good. Was pretty epic.
Yeah, all the behind the scenes stuff is great.
You really wanted your merman, didn't you? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
when they're like flipping off the cameras that are in Asia because the children are singing around in a circle and everything, I'm like, that's great.
And they turned off the satanic spirit into a frog.
Yeah.
It was a locked door with a bunch of 9-year-olds. How could you not have killed them? Yeah. At the end, when Sigourney Weaver was there and talking to the two people that had survived, and she's like, "Hey, Dana," and I was like, "Oh, it's like a Ghostbusters reference," because it was like her name was it was like Dana.
Yeah,
Ghostbusters. I thought that was funny. So, yeah. Cabin in the Woods was fun. It was, I kept looking over at Headless, and I was like, what's going on?
And then the gore, that actually came up yesterday because we were talking about gore factors, and I forgot where we decided that one falls. I always think
gory.
It's gory, but I was like, I put it under this gory, like Army of Darkness gore versus.
Well, like
Candyman.
There's like the boxes of the like bad things, you can like pick up or whatever, and like it was just like a bloodbath.
Yeah.
For like 15 minutes. It was funny.
Yeah, that was my favorite scene of seeing like, oh, this is how they're doing the stuff. So I want to know more about this weird world in which they live.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Like, okay, you need the blood. Good times. Yeah. There you go.
Another recommendation. Take your scary into a thankful season.
It was good. You know what I'm thankful for?
Oh, music.
I'm thankful for New Kids on the Block. Day 1, November 1st.
Is that your number 12 album of influence?
It is. So you like officially Cronenberged yourself for the last like couple of weeks.
Yay.
Okay. So yeah, my album of influence this week, which I'm definitely thankful for. Maybe I'll do a day every day of being thankful. You should do that too. Write it down. Write them down.
25 days of thankful.
30. It's 30 days in November.
26. Yeah, but you can stop being thankful once Thanksgiving gets
after you eat the turkey and stuff. Like,
and then you can go into bitter season.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, do 25. We can write what we're thankful for. Day number 1, November 1st. I'm thankful for New Kids on the Block.
Socks.
See? There you go.
What songs of the New Kids on the Block are on this album?
Well, this is an album called Step by Step, and there's a song called Step by Step. Who knew? Excuse me. I get so caught up whenever I think about them and talk about them.
Step by step. I'd say that's a wrong song.
That's the theme song to Step by Step, the show. Anyways, that's okay. So this was released in June of 1990, which means it would have been 30 years old this year. And the reason why this was one of my like quintessential picks for album of influence is because, like, when I was talking about like all the other ones that was like Chicago and a lot of like the other older ones, like I was listening in my parents' car, we had it on, vinyl, that kind of stuff. Like this was my very first, I remember this was like my music. You know what I mean? Like where you have your own musical taste.
Pigtails, sweatbands on the wrist, just.
Oh, but you know what though? No, it wasn't like that. It was like the bed sheets, the posters. I remember literally like, I guess it had to have been 1990.
Both like snuggled and woke up to the Backstreet Boys.
New Kids on the Block. Backstreet Boys wasn't even a thing. Backstreet Boys isn't even on this list. Anyways.
Because New Kids is like childhood. Okay.
Yeah, I was 7 when the album came out. Let me go back
to my childhood, because I think I was like second grade when I was seeing those folders on girls' desk, and they were like, don't make fun of them.
Yeah. Anyways, without looking, can you tell me the 5 names? Can you tell me? Anyways, I didn't think so.
Boy like, 1, boy 2.
Yeah. Bass, bass guy voice, high falsetto voice boy, tenor
Dancer.
boy, alto type tenor boy.
Yeah.
No, it's Jonathan, Jordan, Joey, Danny, and Donnie. Come on, man.
And Donnie Wahlberg?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mark Wahlberg used to be a part of New Kids on the Block, and then he wasn't.
Really?
Little known fact. Uh-huh.
Did Donnie take his place?
No, he was in it with him.
So there were two Wahlbergs.
Joey took his place. Uh-huh. Well, there's two. Jordan and Jonathan. John and Jordan are brothers too. Jordan Knight and John Knight.
But are they Wahlbergs?
They're Knights.
Do they have a burger shop?
No, they don't have Wahlburgers or Night Burgers or whatever.
Night Burgers. I would go to Night Burgers before I went to Wahlburgers. Just saying.
Dude, if I had an opportunity for Jordan to be there, I would be at Night Burgers.
I wouldn't care who's there. I just like the name.
Night Burgers. And it is K-N-I-G-H-T. I don't know how to spell. I have to think about it. Anyways, so the songs on here, there's like Tonight and Valentine Girl and Step by Step is, like it was just in that time and it was greatness. So yeah, let's see. What else is there? Oh, Happy Birthday. They had a Happy Birthday song. That was in there too.
Classic.
What else is, Games. Games is like one of my favorites from that album. And they played it at the concert because I've enjoyed them for a long. I could talk about them for a while, for a long time, and I finally got to see them last year.
I was gonna say, didn't they make a resurgence a few years ago as like they're back together and touring or doing cruises?
Yeah, well, they broke up for a little while, but they broke up for like 5 or 6 years, I think, because like Donnie and Joey like couldn't even be in the same room together for a while. Gasp. Anyways, yeah. And then they finally got back together and then they started touring and it was just like bigger than any of their stuff was before. Because it's all like, it's like the girls that were my age back then are like moms and like, have like, not, I wouldn't say like money, but like, our own like people and can like do that now. And now we have our like kids in too. So yeah. And all the moms that took the kids that were our age or the grandmas there that are.
I want to say, weren't the new kids, didn't they have like a cruise for a little bit as well?
They have a cruise. I just didn't do it this year because of, that thing. That thing that happened. I would love to go on that sometime. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Headless.
I'm not. I was like, I don't know.
No. He's like, and then do like he's going to be like, he thumbs down.
Headless would go on the cruise that I was supposed to go on, which was the Disney Star Wars.
Well, I would do that. Of course. Yeah. I would do that.
But
he just thumbs me down. Rude.
I mean, because he knows the environment that he's going to be stepping into.
Hold on.
Because as he walks up that ramp onto the new kids on the ship, there's going to be this weird juju flying around in the mist.
Pause. He's not invited, first of all. He wouldn't be going with. I'd be going with like one of my girlfriends or something.
Now he just fears for everything.
There, I see now he thumbs up. That's
got the thumbs up. Never mind. Never mind.
I'm not taking him on it. Come on, I'm not that stupid. Like I'm stupid, but I'm not that dumb. That's just there's a bunch of screaming women for like 7 days straight on a cruise ship. Come on, like. I would never subject him to that ever. I'm a lot better of a person than I think you think I am, right?
I don't know.
Anyways, that's Step by Step. My music, still my music. Saw the concert. I should find the picture for you because I was like less than 10 feet away from Jordan, and that was up there. That was a pretty good. And
the look on your face is what everyone on that ship feels like once
you should
they step across.
The video. So I have some of the videos because of course I took video during the concert because I'm a dork. And I mean, it's just like ridiculous screaming.
That's like high pitched squealing and screaming.
It's like the time when I strummed that's my little like finger move thing, I guess. Lindsay's guitar strings. No, because you just like play it, as you can.
Oh, you.
And I mean, and I'm like, because he has a part during one of his. We'll probably talk about this next week. If you pick it or whatever, but and I am like I like lost my mind. Like yeah, I'm sort of embarrassed to play it. I think Headless has heard it once. I know Ma Rizzo heard it for sure, and I played it for the Kansas Bestie because I was like those are the only people that I like listen to it without them incessantly making fun of me for the rest of my life because it's just that bad.
Were you laugh crying?
No, I was screaming. Like, I can't believe this just happened. And then, but it's like about 8 octaves higher than that, like screaming and everything. And I don't know.
Wow.
I might play it for you sometime. Maybe. Just knowing that the incessant fun making of would come in after that. So.
I mean, I could add you to the board here.
What is that? What do you mean? What does that mean?
Well, I could take that audio and just at the flick of a button.
Except it's not bad. It's Rizzo screaming from strumming guitar.
Call that the Rizzo reaction.
Anyways.
I'm glad you had your heart ripped out at multiple in good ways.
Thank you. Okay, what are comic book cards?
Comic book cards.
The fog's gonna return if I'm not careful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Comic book cards. One, it's a cop out because I could not figure out a storyline I wanted to cover in as far as
dude, don't call yourself out.
No, it's I just want to be honest because now this is my only way to do this, so I can't do it anymore. But comic book cards, this is actually, in a comic book album. Shiny, kind of binder type thing. Everyone collects. You know what baseball cards are, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So, football cards. Back in the day, in the 90s, the same companies that...
trading cards, yes.
That was an unintentional noise.
Oh, my God. That's right.
But back in the 90s, like when comic books were kind of like bigger, the companies that were doing your baseball cards, Fleer, Topps, they were also designing comic book cards.
Neat. Those are cool.
And so it's really cool art. On the back, you get a little bit of synopsis of the character or whatever the case may be.
Cool.
And I actually enjoyed collecting these a little bit more than the comics themselves at the time, just because.
And how long have you had those cards for?
I've had these since the 90s.
Those are probably worth a fortune.
No.
No, they're not.
That was the thought at the time.
Put them with your Beanie Babies too.
Those were the wipes.
That's right. Anyways, she still have them?
A few. We got rid of them because they were taking up space. But I'm trying to find a certain page. But at the time, the thought was like, yeah, this is, I've said this in the past. I made money with comic books because I would trade and like, oh, okay, you want this comic? It's worth this, but I can't give it up for $5. Yeah. That sort of stuff. Same things with the cards. I know. Back a minute. Sorry.
Oh, I see what you're doing. Okay. Let me see this.
But for this, certain comics, let me try to.
Yeah. That's cool. So it's like the whole scene, but it's like the.
Yeah, it's the whole page. But then.
Right on.
Heart of the Glare. I'll try to take a page.
Okay.
But on each of these cards on the back, you've got a description of the character and kind of what they do. It's fun because I'm using one camera to go based off another camera. I'm getting worse. There we go.
Go backwards. Go opposite. I know. We'll get used to it.
So yes.
Headless is attempting to try to like help us be better, but we're just like messing it up.
Let's do this. But like baseball cards, they would have stats on the back of the character. This is their power base, stuff like that. And just, I enjoyed collecting these because I could see other characters that I couldn't see because I was in a religious household. I couldn't have certain comic books. That's why some of these pages are blank because these were the characters that mom would have like sensed in the house and came into the room and burnt them or something like that. She gets
the like mom vibe, and she's like, something is awry.
She had the shinning. She's got the shining.
So get sued.
Yeah. But yeah, I really dug these, and like over the years, you would have like the ones that I do have some that like I have one that's like worth $5 somewhere, but it is a hologram type one. It's a Sabretooth versus Wolverine. And like the blades on Wolverine's blades kind of have shimmer to them and stuff like that. But I mean, the idea was that
foil covered. It wasn't worth anything back then. I remember that.
Yeah, and I've got some Batman Forever ones in here too because I'm like they're comic books and it's a movie.
That's neat.
In fact, the Batman ones are really cool actually.
All right.
But It was fun to collect. They did have a series of Marvel Now, which was a few years ago. They did some cards, and it was basically, here's the artists that are doing our current covers and whatnot.
Up in the corner, you like.
That's
like an episode of Rick and Morty when they go like some random planet. And he's
there have been multiple Robins. That one's the one that got killed.
That's right. Yeah, because I remember when I said Dick Grayson, and you're like, no, it's like this guy, and I was like, what the hell are you talking about? Yeah,
I can cover that in the future. That'd be a pretty good one.
Do that next week.
I have to find the comic. I don't know if I've actually read that. I just I'll diverge.
Do that.
But comic cards, I love them. I miss them. I need to get a hold of the Marvel Now ones just for fun. I need to go through and fill in the gaps, because you can actually find the whole set of the Fleer ones on eBay.
Yeah,
for $10.
$10, huh?
Yeah.
All right. I'm taking notes.
Do not take notes.
I am. I want to look at them. You just like.
Okay.
Hey, jeez.
You're weird sometimes. Do you want some tea? How about these teas?
Oh my gosh, dude. You're learning and you're enjoying them. It's a nice gesture. That's what it is. All it is. Crazy.
Tea sprouting out my ass. I'm just kidding.
Well, there's other ones you want to try that aren't just, like
I
vials.
will. But yeah, I have 9 teas right now. I've got a lot of tea to get through.
Do you know how many I have in my house?
Well, since you work at PlayStation Tea, all of them.
Yeah, like a lot more than 9.
All of them. So yeah, that's comic cards. They're awesome. I'll have an actual series or character to talk about next week.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I love that. That's awesome.
I truly do miss those. They have, I think the big card things these days, but everything now is going digital still. But like Magic the Gathering, which is a big, very, very popular game. It's been around for a while. I think a lot of it's going to a digital side, like digital card world, which is cool because you can access them through multiple devices. Like these, I have them in that binder, in that one particular binder for Jeebus, a long time. Sorry, that realization that's been in there for like 25 years.
Yeah, they look good. They're nice, they're in good condition to keep them nice. That's good.
So yeah.
Okay.
They've been awesome.
No, you're good. Okay. So I have to talk about Archive 81 because how we talk about like other podcasts we like listen to or do whatever with.
Yes.
Have you heard of this?
No.
It sounded cool. So so it's based on this like horror podcast where it's like this found footage podcast basically. And so I'm just going to read the little synopsis of the plot. It says, loosely inspired by a horror podcast of the same name. Plot centers around a character named Dan Turner, who's an archivist who takes a mysterious job restoring a collection of damaged videotapes from 1994 and finds himself reconstructing the work of documentary filmmaker Melody Pendress in her investigation into a dangerous cult. As Dan is drawn into Melody's story, he becomes convinced he can save her from the terrifying end she met 25 years ago. It sounds pretty I know. Yeah, it sounds pretty cool. Like it sounds cool. Neat. That's why I was like, oh, I think we should talk about this.
So this is a podcast, or this is a TV show being turned into a podcast? Or wait, vice versa.
It's a podcast that's being turned into a series on Netflix.
Okay.
Yeah, and so it says 8 one-hour episodes. So it'll be like a mini series kind of style, but it sounded cool.
Yeah.
Probably scared the bejesus out of me, but like it sounded like a neat idea, and I thought that was like kind of a neat little, coming up soon, but like sort of Halloweeny, and then like
right, and like that's I think supernatural stuff. I mean, if you haven't figured out based off the stuff I talk about on the show, I dig all that. And I mean, when the last time the wife and I were in Albuquerque, we went on the Albuquerque ghost tour.
The Albu, what is it called? Albu Spooky? Albu, whatever. Tour.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a ghost tour.
Something, I don't know.
But just kind of like, and I approach it as like, even like Greek mythology, stuff like that. Because these are all things that were passed down verbally from years to years. What is the origin? What's the source? Like the idea of a dragon. Okay, maybe it was a dinosaur, but a fire-breathing dragon. Where did that come from? Or
that was a neat little dance you just did.
That's what I try to do for the show, really. I mean, this is what the YouTube people get.
I'm sorry.
The dancing Shazam. Yeah. Anyway. I see the giant word vote on the screen.
No more dancing Shazams. Yeah.
Vote.
Well, okay, so it's finally Tuesday. Like, it'll be Tuesday and it'll be done. All the ads, all the texts, all the like random things, the mailers, like all of it will be done. Thank you.
The Instagram, I voted selfies.
Oh yeah, if you don't have
Facebook.
the sticker on the shirt, it didn't happen. I'm like, okay, yeah, well, you know what? It's fine. Anyways, so there are some celebs and stuff that are getting into it, and we had a couple that we talked about last week, and then there are a few more. The one you sent me was great. It was New Girl, and it was Zooey Deschanel, Jake Johnson, and the guy that played Winston. Sorry, I don't know his name. I can't remember his name. It's like the one that went away. Yeah,
but it's that quick
the little switch. Yeah, who played? He played Winston as a coach. And then what was the name of the girl that was in it with
Zoe Lister-Jones? That's how I first saw it.
Yeah,
because she's from not Modern Family.
I don't know. I've never heard.
It's a show. She's great. She plays Colin Hanks's wife on this show, which is about grandma and grandpa, their three kids, their families.
Is it the one that's Craig T. Nelson? That one, the kind of like This Is Us, but not really. Parenthood.
No.
Dang it, I thought I was gonna get it right.
Lamorne Morris is who we were thinking of earlier.
Okay, yeah.
And hang on, let me get the TV show that I recommend. Lister-Jones. It's like the word Life in Pieces.
Oh, Life in Pieces. Okay.
It was on CBS.
Yeah. Pretty
Colin
good.
Hanks. That's fantastic.
Okay,
it's
good to know.
Good. I highly. I think it got canceled. Unfortunately, I could be wrong on that, but there's a few seasons out. I love it, but it's like, let me see who the grandparents are. This is awesome stuff. Diana Wiest and James Brolin are the grandparents.
Okay.
Then it follows their children, which is Colin Hanks, Betsy Brandt, and someone else. Oh, Thomas Sudeikis. Okay. I'm saying that. But yeah, it's like, and so it's basically an episode is 3 different stories of those families.
Got it.
And they're funny bits. They're great.
Right. Cool.
So that's how I know about Zoe Lister-Jones. Anyway.
So they did the vote thing, and it was like the theme song from New Girl, which is where Jake and all those guys. Yeah. And then
what you doing?
Zoe, what's her face, pops in. Not Deschanel. Zoe, other lady, pops in, and she's like, "It's democracy, B." And then
who's that girl? Who's that? It's democracy, bitch.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. It's like you can say it.
Yeah.
And it was
I'm the PG-13 of Ryan and Rizzo shoot the shit.
There you go. And that's how we get our rating. Okay, good times. Anyways, and so that was pretty cute. I like that. You showed me that from Instagram. And then did you watch the Tenacious D?
No, I heard about the Tenacious D.
Vote. So it was, of course, it's Kyle Glass and Jack Black. And they did this little paneled, everybody in their own little space of rocking out to do whatever. And they did to the time warp, but they did they did the song. Yeah, there he is. It was just greatness. And it was the song, but it was a little bit tied into clips of the movie and stuff like that. And then they did the part with the time warp. And
by movie, you mean the Rocky Mountain Horror Pictures show?
Rocky Mountain Oyster Picture Show.
Yeah, the Rocky Mountain Oysters picture show.
That's so sad. Gross. And then at the end, it had the lips, and they were painted blue, of course, because they're not going to be painted red, because blue wave. Anyways, and then it was vote at the end. Vote. It was great. Nice. Yeah, you should watch it. And then speaking of people that voted, in New York, earlier last week, there were people in Brooklyn, and they were in line. It was raining and gross and stuff. And Paul Rudd, being the national treasure he is, he came up and he's handing people cookies. He's like, "Thanks for early voting." I was like, "Man, we don't deserve Paul Rudd." Especially
I showed this to my wife last night, and she fawned a little bit.
Oh, dude, same.
It's.
I love him.
Yeah. She was the one that told me to go watch Ant-Man, which in this house is weird because when
the wife says the superhero stuff, he's like, go.
Yeah, it's like she's like, I enjoyed it. Go watch it. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So anyway, he was out handing cookies to people and like the whatever, and it just was like really cool. And like you don't have to do those kind of things. Like people, I think that a lot of people feel like when they're connected to a celebrity that they're like they're owed something by that celebrity because they feel like connected. You know what I mean? But I mean, they're just like humans, like we all are, and
they're just humans who get a lot of coverage.
And they're just like doing nice stuff and like. Like handing out cookies is a little thing, but it's just so cool. And I think that's like a nice little story within all the other like crap that's out there right now with, voting and everything else. So
yeah, it's like, hey, thanks for coming out.
Yeah. Here's some cookies. They're yummy.
Speaking of the Avengers, ScarJo and Colin Jost got married.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we know Colin pretty well because
comedian, right?
Casey, yeah. Well, he's comedian. A writer. He's a writer / actor on SNL, and that Casey, his brother, is one of the producers on Impractical Jokers.
Okay.
So we know Casey better than Colin, but we knew him from Casey. So, anyways, but yeah, now, and I think the hashtag for it was Jost married.
Yeah, I was like, what? I was like, oh,
that's pretty good. I mean, they've been engaged for like a couple of years, I think, and
they have a child together already, I believe. So I could be wrong.
I don't think so.
Okay,
I think she has kids or kid.
Yeah, I know she has a child. So
and but I mean, like they seem like a lovely couple, and I hope it actually works because it seems like a very interesting like pairing, I guess, just because she's like here, you know what I mean? I don't know.
He's funny and
good looking, funny, like seems like a nice guy. You know what I mean? Like just for, like what people would like think. I'm not saying like anything bad or like derogatory against him because he seems cool enough. But.
People, I mean, yeah, like that's like ScarJo. Who gets to marry the ScarJo?
Right, exactly. So they're like some guy from SNL. Cool. No, he seems really cool. So
I read the SNL. I was like, okay, I approve of this. I mean, he's making her laugh.
Yeah. Okay. Should we just briefly touch upon this because it just like made me sad. Like
Sean Connery. Yeah,
I know. Like 90, dude. Like, that's unbelievable. Like, I read something where somebody said like, you shouldn't be like, yeah, we can be sad and we can mourn, but like a life well lived, man. 90, like huge movie star
acting for forever. I mean.
Like 70 years or something like that, like 60 years. Yeah.
The sad thing, I still watched the last movie he was in, but the sad thing is that the last movie he was in was League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Okay.
And that was the last movie he was in because he had such a bad experience on set. He's like, I'm done.
Yeah. Well, that was the one, I think I saw that with you because we went to the theater.
Possibly
in Canyon, or it was like the Hollywood 16 or whatever. Because I remember going because it was you and me and Snowball went and saw that together. So I remember that. And then
I still watch it because it's one of those movies like this is really bad in a way, but I can't stop watching it.
Like, yeah,
like B movie. I'm like, I have to watch this. I know exactly what's going to happen, but it's got characters I love. I mean, you got Captain Nemo, you got Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. It's
Yeah, just go back to like Untouchables or like Indiana Jones or something, just like
the funny thing is like, like I grew up watching, like kind of a lot of kids, because James Bond movies back in the day in TNT on TBS during the summertime, it's the James Bond marathon.
Right.
And you're going to start with Connery. You get the one guy in there for the one episode, then more. You get Connery back.
Yeah. Timothy Dalton.
So That's how I grew up. And then seeing him pop up, like, and I mentioned earlier, I grew up in a religious household, but I also had 3 older brothers and a truck driver for a dad. So I got to watch certain movies that I shouldn't have.
That was like perfect lyrics for a country song. I was in a
3 older brothers and a trucker for a dad.
And I did something and I shouldn't had. That was good. I liked it. You should write that down.
Watch some movies that I really shouldn't had. Anyway. But yeah, like Untouchables, I watched that when I was 10. But I'm like, okay, it's awesome. So I still have ingrained in my head of Sean Connery picking up a dead body. Oh, you got something to say? Can you say it with a gun in your mouth? doing more fat bastard accent there, but
I mean, like, it's Scottish type. That's okay. It works.
Yeah. In high school, various people can atone to this. I did a bad Sean Connery accent growing up a lot. So
it makes
mostly just going around going, Junior. So
it makes me want to watch SNL, the old Jeopardies with Will Ferrell and Daryl Hammond. Yeah.
What was it?
So yeah, Daryl Hammond was Sean Connery and Will Ferrell was Alex Trebek.
I'm trying to think of some of the categories, like something your mother. So,
well, that was always his like response.
I was like, your mother.
Yeah. I was like the penis mightier. It's the pin. Okay,
yeah, I was like the pin is mightier. I was like, what? It's like pin.
It's like the countries. What country is this? Asia. And you know how to answer that question? John Travolta. He didn't know. He didn't know what it was.
He didn't care. He was Sean Connery.
Anyways, so speaking of things on NBC, yes.
NBC.
Did you hear about the reboot? I'm so happy.
And not until I read it in the notes today now.
Speaking of things that I was excited about when I was 7.
So, are they all coming back? I guess so. That's what the picture looks like.
Yeah, so of course Dustin Diamond's not coming back because he's like in jail. I'm pretty sure that's Screech. The wrestling, drug dealing.
He's had such a career.
Oh my God. Like wrestling midgets and stuff like that. And then like getting caught up in drugs. Yeah, I know. Yeah. And being like, getting arrested for like other things. But I don't want to talk about it on the show. You can look it up, kids.
No,
be careful.
Don't. Do not look up Dustin Diamond. No. Don't.
Just clear out your browsing history when you're done. But so it's Mark Paul Gosselaar, Tiffany Amber Thiessen.
The bell can't save you this time.
Mario Lopez and Elizabeth Berkley. And I guess Elizabeth Berkley is like the principal of Bayside. And the whole concept is that like Zach Morris is of course the governor of California. Of course he is. Okay. And there's this like shutdown of like inner city schools, I guess. And so what they did is they like transferred some of the like other kids in the like lower income into like the more affluent high schools. And so there's like this different like mix of people at Bayside now. And like of course Slater is the coach there and like Jesse is the principal. And then Zach and Kelly are married and have a kid named Mac.
Is Kelly a teacher as well, or
I don't know. I saw the. I just saw
the crap job of just being Zach Morris's wife.
I think. Well, I mean, he's the governor of California. He's not doing that bad, obviously, but still. But yeah,
no. But
yeah, so I'm very excited.
Give her a job.
She might have a job. I don't know. And then I know they just announced Lark Voorhees is coming back as well to play Lisa Turtle. She was the like fashion designer type person. And she has this, it's like a schizophrenia disorder sort of thing. And so she wasn't in like the early talks, which she actually brought up in this like interview she did, but she's excited because she gets to like reprise the role and is, nice. I guess, successful in fashion. And so, should be good.
I wonder if our old principal's going to come back for like a cameo or something like that. Because he'd be retired by now.
Yeah, Mr. Belding. Yeah. And I don't know, because I know that the principal for the show is John Michael Higgins, which is kind of fun. That's one of Short Round's favorites because he hosts a game show she really likes. But he's kind of got that same Mr. Belding vibe, like kind of the doofy, like, try to be like everyone's buddy, kind of be cool guy. So it should be good. And I'm excited. It starts on Peacock on November 25th, I think. So that's
the CBS or NBC's streaming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so
with ads.
I'm so excited. It should be fun. And I'm looking forward to checking out the reboot. So we'll see how it goes.
Nice.
Aw.
All right.
See what I'm doing for tea time? Did you see? It's
a magical tea.
I know. I changed it a bunch.
What is it, yo?
What did I tell you? What did I tell you it was?
You told me it was some sort of green type tea.
Mm-hmm. And there was a reason. Well, there's a couple of reasons I chose to do that. So today
I've covered enough green teas.
Well, I've only done one, which is a good point. And also, well, I'll tell you why. So I did Fortune's Favor today, and that is a really nice light green tea. It has a little bit of white tea in it as well, and it's like a sugared pear tea.
Interesting.
So nice and sweet, like super yummy. Doesn't need anything to it, which I kind of like. I put a little bit of sugar in it because I just needed this. But so it's Fortune's Favor, and then this kind of leads me into my tea topic for today, because when you make green tea, the thing that I love about it is that it's the quickest tea you're going to make because it doesn't require boiled water. It requires hot water. It does not require it. You should not be using boiled water because it'll damage the leaves.
Interesting.
Yeah. So you're pretty much, if you have like a hot water, something like, for example, this morning I used our Keurig, which is like whatever, it's like short round. Nope, not short round. What's it? Headless. When Headless, does his coffee in the morning, he just like makes the hot water out of the
Pops
Keurig
and
with the little, And so I just take it out, and that's just a little empty thing with the hot water going through to steep the leaves. So. And
that level's it's kind of steaming hot water, but it's not boiling.
Exactly. Yeah, because if it's boiling, it's just going to ruin the leaves. Okay. It's going to just like, not like break them apart, but just it will like take away the taste, and it's
you won't get the true effect.
It's too heavy. Yeah, boiled water is far too heavy for a green tea, and so that's why you just use the hot water instead of so there's my little tea tip for you. But like white tea, that's fine. Black tea's fine, but the green you can't. So there you go.
So all green tea you shouldn't have boiling water. Okay,
correct. Okay. Yes, correct. No, you should not.
I'm assuming what's in a kettle, that's how it gets it to the steaming, that is technically boiling water, because that's how it gets the
Yeah, okay. If you're using a kettle and it's going at you or whatever, the noise it makes, or it goes click like mine does because it bubbles. Yeah,
mine's classic.
That's the one you should have. Did you save it for your keyboard?
Yeah, I was like just thinking like, that would be a good one.
Great. Can we do it again?
That's all I got.
Oh my, okay. It's not exactly what the kettle sounds like, but okay.
I don't have that. I can get some Foley up in here. See, I've been making green tea because I've always just used the kettle. Yeah. Most of the time. If I'm making tea for two, I use the kettle. If it's just a one shot, then I use a little Keurig, like you're saying, just nothing in there. So, all right. Mm-hmm. The more I know.
I restocked myself with a bunch of tea. So I'm like good to go basically through the holidays. I think I picked up like, I don't know, like 10 or 12 bags of it, and on top of what I have in my, because I'll go through it. Like, I go through it.
I was like, I mean, I can see how it goes quickly because I made some sun tea with another kind. I'm like, that does take up a fair amount. So,
yeah. I mean, like depending upon the size, like this is literally just like 1 cup today, but it still goes through. Like, even if it's like 2 ounces or whatever, and it's just so good. And then sometimes like with these, like with Fortune's Favor, the leaves are still intact. Because, a lot of times you see the tea bags and it's just like the grains of whatever, like the tea leaves. Mm-hmm. But these are actually like full leaf kind of teas. And so it takes, even though it's like 2 ounces, it takes up a bigger space. Yeah, because it's like a 2 ounce bag.
It's more
Fortune's Favor isn't going, it's less dense. It's, like, it's okay, but density is the idea. Yeah, because like for example, like Indian Assam, when we talked about I told you they're like the little beady ones. Like you could do a ton of tea, like cups out of there, as opposed to the Fortune's Favor, where you're just having to really get the leaves. So yeah. Anyways, that's good.
Fabulous.
All right. Let's see here. Okay.
So what is this game you have called Time Traveler?
I'm excited about it. I saw it this week and I wanted to give it a try and see what.
Especially since today is the time change.
That is true. I didn't think about that. So when were you born? 1981, right?
Yep.
Yeah, 81. Okay, so this is Merriam-Webster. So it's like the dictionary website, and it's called Time Traveler. And it's, when was a word first used in print? You may be surprised. Enter your date below to find the words recorded on that year. So we're going to go to search year 1981. Oops, nope, not 1981. 1981. And let's play. Let's find some good ones. Autocorrect. Bashful bladder. I don't know what that is. Buffalo wing. That's a good one. Cable modem, camcorder, connect the dots, fist pump, There's like a crap ton of them.
These were added on 81.
Yeah, first used in print. Ghetto Blaster.
Okay, I believe that one. There was one you mentioned that seemed a little bit too early.
Scuzzball.
That makes sense.
Spell Checker. Also Sleazeball and Sleazebag.
Those make sense. It's like Spell Checker and stuff like that. Kind of like, I guess computers
like first you like they had the idea, but yeah, like typing it, right. Wait Staff, Warm Fuzzies, VJ, Unsubscribe, Uninstall.
VJ because MTV came out in the in 1981 in August.
Yeah. Trash Talk.
Again, MTV.
This is good. I like this. Woohoo. That's like Homer, kind of. And then Squishy. Squishy's one. Let's see what else. Yeah, that's good. Anyways.
This truly defines my personality. Are you reading the horoscope or the dictionary?
Acid Snow.
Yep, that's me.
There you go. Camcorder, canola oil, case sensitive. All right.
There was one of the ones you mentioned earlier that seemed almost too autocorrect.
Autocorrect? Well, I mean, that's probably like very first computer type of things where, there was like, that was like the concept of it.
Punctuation or something.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to pull up Headless's year, which was a couple of years before yours. Okay, Baby Moon.
Oh.
Blackened. California Roll. Oh, I want sushi. / Dark Matter.
Ooh.
Oh boy. Food Court.
It's because of Quantum Leap.
Done Deal. La La Land. Laser Disc. Laser Printer. All those lasers back then in the Star Wars age.
Uh-huh. Laser Disc. It took off.
Outsource. Pepper Spray. Let's see. Smoke and Mirrors. Oh, TNA. You nasty. That's nasty. Sugar Snap P. Talk Therapy. Let's see what else there is. There's all these like medical terms to it. I'm like, I'm not reading that. So, Lyme disease, I can read that. Napa cabbage. Interesting.
Late 70s are weird, man.
Gender expression. Oh, I just missed the best one. Hip hop. I was like written down for the first time, and there you go. Oh, first world problem. There you go. There you go. De-stress. All right. Codependency. The relationship I have with my husband. Okay. All right. 1983. That's me for all you youngster kids out there. Let's see.
2 years into the millennials.
12 steps, the first one.
We have it, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my God, it makes sense. And then buy one, get one BOGO is there as well. Brewpub, AIDS virus, central line, cell phone, CD-ROM. Dang, that was a big day. Cyberpunk, dry erase board, dumpster diving. Man, this is like speaking into my soul a little too much. I'm really not enjoying that very much. Hip hopper, FLOTUS, First Lady of the United States. Let's see.
It sounds dumb, but I didn't really know that POTUS was something until 4 years ago.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. FLOTUS and POTUS.
Because I never saw it
SCOTUS,
abbreviated. Yeah. I was like, the president? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Megapixel, liposuction, lap dance. Not in that order. Anyways. Mosh, mountain bike, mouse pad. This is crazy. Onesie, poison pill, pie hole. Man, this is totally me. Wow.
I'm remembering some of those words too, because that's how my older brothers would speak sometimes.
Screenshot, spell check,
Mosh.
toolbar. Yup. And yup. Yup. Let's see. I wonder if I don't think oh yeah, we'll do short rounds. Let's just see some of these words. Oh, there's not that many.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we ready?
Sure.
Body shamer, dead name, escape room, hot take, inspo, and somatic symptom disorder. That's it. Do we have another one? What's the missus? Is she the same year? No.
She was 84.
84. All right. Robbing the cradle, dude. Dang.
I know.
Jeez.
When it was 3, just peering down upon her.
Oh, Jesus, that's gross. I'm talking about. Don't do that. Gross. You can't laugh at that. Okay. All right. Let's see. Here we go. Benedict, Blush Wine, Bi-Curious, Cardio,
Benedict?
D-Bag. There you go. It's you. Benedict, D-Bag, Death Metal, FedEx.
That sounds like the wife.
Earbud, French Pedicure, Geeked, Hantavirus, Go To. There's also Horn Dog. Yeah, see, I'm just like, it just makes sense. Laptop, one-timer, over the top, phone tag.
So basically, you just have to use a word enough times that people are like, well, let's write it down enough, to get to a certain point, and then we'll add it to the dictionary.
Sriracha, that's a good one. Tres leches, cake. Now I want sushi and tres leches.
That sounds like, that's
whack. Whack. Terabyte. You had to have all the space. You can't just have those, gigabytes. You had to have the terabytes. Spin Doctor, Search Engine, Power Walk. There you go. And Yuppify. Because why not, right? Yuppies, Yuppify things. Heck yeah. Oh. I know. I was like, and then, we need to have an extra producer, I guess, helping things. She's coming in.
Off camera with Joyce.
Yeah, it was Kit Kat's birthday yesterday. Happy birthday, Kit Kat. The giant pita. That's probably on here somewhere. 6.
6, okay.
We got her when she was 3, so she would have been here with us 3 years. So that's probably where you got that from.
Okay.
But anyways, yeah, I just thought that was kind of a fun thing. I know it's a random because we're not doing our games, but we're still trying to figure out how to. Yeah, and it's not like we want to have something that's fun, but I thought this was sort of a fun thing.
Yeah. www.miriam.webster.com/time traveler.
Yeah. It's very fun. And then also, speaking of that, you could do YouTube and you could search up Ryan and Rizzo if we're talking about websites and things like that. Or you could go to Twitter or Instagram, and that would be at Ryan and Rizzo. And I think Headless is trying to murder our cat back there.
That's usually how it happens when they interfere.
She's like, wait, Daddy's here too? Okay.
So we can Bumblebee Tuna. Ooh, we get Bumblebee Tuna. Everyone write down Bumblebee Tuna this week so that we can get it added to the dictionary, which it probably already is.
Merriam-Webster 2021. Let's go.
Yeah.
Hashtag.
Bumblebee Tuna. It is a verb.
It is. Or it could be a greeting as well. I don't know, because if you're Bumblebee Tuning, you're finishing up a podcast.
Yeah.
Right?
But if you're walking into a room, Bumblebee Tuna!
Yeah. Or goodbye. Bumblebee Tuna. Ryan and Rizzo is a part of the Musing with McWillie Creative Network. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan and Rizzo. For more info about the show, go to mcwillie.com/podcast.
I like to do the blah blah. McWillie.com.